Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you through a typical day in my life working as a summer intern at JP Morgan, where I interned in the Global Finance and Business Management division. I also have a video on a day in my life as a summer intern at Goldman Sachs, so I'll link that down in the video description if you want to check that out as well. If you're new here, I'm Love and I make videos about early careers for students, so if that's the sort of thing that interests you, then please consider subscribing. So let's get straight into the video. The day usually starts at 7 AM when I get up and start to get on with my basic morning routine. So this just involves brushing, showering, and putting on my work clothes so that I'm ready for work. In addition to this, I'll try and make a smoothie or eat some fruits, just something nutritious to get me started. I don't tend to feel so hungry in the morning, and as a result, this is good enough for me. After this, between 8 to 9 AM, I log in and I start prepping for the day at work. So this involves reading and replying to my emails, it involves checking my calendar to see if I've got the right meetings in place, and it involves making my to-do list for the day. So I'll get ready for the day, make sure I know what I'm doing, and make sure I'm organized. Also, in the morning, it's really quiet. Not many people have logged in at 8 AM, and as a result, during my internship at JP Morgan, between 8 to 9 AM, we'll usually set a lot of mandatory training modules. So these relate to, things like finance, risk and compliance, and so on, policies and procedures that we need to know and follow. As a result, during 8 to 9 AM, I would basically, try and knock out some of these training sessions so that I wouldn't have to spend time on them later in the day. Okay, so now it's 9 AM and most people have logged in for the day, and between 9 to 10 AM, there will basically be some sort of call with my buddy. So a buddy is somebody who's in your team, so they've been there for a little while, they're usually an analyst or an associate, and basically your buddy is given the responsibility to manage you and make sure that you have the work that you need to do and that you're meeting expectations. So during this call, every single day, I would update my buddy on my to-do list, what I'm working on so that they're aware. I'd ask them any questions on the work where I'm finding it really challenging or where I'm stuck, and I'll get their help and get their advice on those things. I'll also talk a little bit more about the work we do next as a summer intern. So between 10 to 11 AM, we usually have a project team meeting where we discuss the work that we need to do. So as a summer intern, you're usually there for about 8 to 10 weeks, and therefore you're given a 8 to 10 week long project to complete. So it basically lasts the entirety of the duration of your program. So for example, one type of project could be to automate a specific workflow to create time efficiencies within the business, or another type of project could be, improve a process by suggesting new ideas to tackle a specific challenge. So for example, my project was to analyze an existing KYC process at the bank and propose a process which could be more efficient. So as a team of interns, we were allocated this project, and we'd usually have a call every day to touch base on the progress of the project. And, we'd each go through the different workflows that we've been assigned in the project, and, we'd update the team on these things. So just to touch up on a little bit more on what KYC is basically know your customer. So that's what it stands for. And it's basically a set of processes that allow banks and other financial institutions to confirm the identity of the organization and individuals that they're doing business with. And it helps them ensure that, those entities are acting legally who they are interacting with. The project that you get allocated is something that the team have, a lot of good background information on and they have expertise in, but usually they just haven't had the time resources to actually commit to this project and finish it off themselves. This is a really good opportunity for you as an intern because it means that you can leverage the good information and the good expertise that the team already have and, put in your own time, energy, and finish this project to a really good standard. And at the end, you present your final proposal to the team. This is really important because if you do a really good job on your main project that's assigned to you, it makes up a huge factor in you getting a return offer, when you graduate from university. Between 11 AM and 12 PM, we would usually have a team call at this point where the team would get together to discuss what each team member is working on. So this is actually my main team in which I'd be assigned through the course of my internship. Previously, the team I mentioned would be a group of interns, which would be a project team where we'd be working on the KYC project. But this would be my main team in which my buddy also belongs to. So on the team call, the team structure would be, there would be a mixture of some analysts, some associates, some VPs, and the team lead would be one of the VPs. So during this meeting, each of the analysts basically take their turn, reporting exactly what they're working on, the deadlines that they're facing, upcoming deadlines, challenges they're facing, progress they've made, where they might need the help of the VPs or other team members, and so on. And then as an intern, when it comes to your turn, your role is to do the exact same thing. So I would just update the team on my to-do list, where I'm facing challenges and so on. And then as an intern, your role is to also ask lots of different questions. So for example, if the team are talking through, a particular project that really interests me, then I would ask questions around that to learn more about it. And then maybe I can also volunteer myself to help on that project and learn even more. So it's to make sure that you're asking questions, you're looking interested, and you're seeming proactive. Okay, so now it's 12 p.m, which means it's lunchtime. So between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m, I would usually have some lunch. It doesn't have to last a full hour. So for example, if I have some more work on some days, then I'll end up taking a shorter lunch break. Whereas if I don't have as much work on some days, then maybe I can take the full hour if I need to. Okay, so now it's 1 p.m, which means it's post-lunch, and therefore I would spend 1 p.m. to 3 p.m, the 2 hours here, basically doing, the work I've been assigned on my KYC project. So for example, this would involve doing some research on different KYC policies. I would try and understand what the policies the firm currently has in place, and then I would try and understand what competitors are currently doing and to see if we can match or beat any of the strategies of other competitors. At the end, I would then, spend time writing up a proposal, a final presentation for the process that should be adopted that I would present back at the end of my internship. At 3 p.m, after I've been working for the past few hours, I would usually take a quick break from work and go for a quick coffee catch-up with a colleague if possible. So there's this great coffee catch-up culture in professional services and banking firms where the firm actively encourages you to email and talk to different colleagues, whether they're, within your division or even from other divisions entirely, and to try and catch up with them over coffee to learn more about them and the role they do in your organization. This is really important because it helps you establish a network of people, that you could learn from. And also, if you're interested in other teams, within your division or out of your division, it helps you learn more about them so that in the future, maybe you can move to that division, if that's what you want to do with your career. I also had this really great advice that I'd love to share. So a lot of people in the industry, often say that it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know. And often that's actually not the case, and it's about who knows you. And as a result, through networking and by having these coffee catch-ups with people, building your network and building genuine connections with people, it means that, a lot of people also know you, and as a result, they recognize you within the company and your contributions. This is really important when it comes to, return offers, because, you need people that are able to vouch for you and that are able to give you some positive feedback so that the firm can make you the return offer. So always make sure that you're trying to network as part of your internship. And so as a result, anytime I got some spare time, I would try and take a quick break by networking and having coffee catch-ups to learn about other colleagues within the business. Okay, so now I'm back from my coffee catch-up and it's now 3:30. So between 3:30 to 4 p.m, I would usually try to work on some smaller projects which have been assigned from my team. So for example, another project that we worked on was we paired up with a mentoring charity as a team of interns, and we basically helped them develop their post-COVID-19 mentoring plans for students and how they would deliver this. So during this time, during this half an hour every single day, I would try and basically analyze the charity's current plans and finances, as well as the strategies used by other charities. And then I would try to put together a final proposal for the end of the internship, which I could present back to the charity on how they could deliver their post-COVID-19 mentoring plan, basically. At 4 p.m, we usually take a quick break from work through the intern sessions prepared by the firm. So as a summer intern, there are usually lots of daily sessions which the firm puts on. This helps you understand the organization, the culture, the values, the beliefs, and so on. And it just helps you, get an in-depth understanding of the organization. So for example, sessions could be in relation to diversity and inclusion, ESG, there could be firm town halls, or they could be sessions that help you learn about the different teams available within the Global Finance and Business Management division. So this could be business management, tax, product control, regulatory reporting, legal entity controllers, and so on and so forth. So it'd be a nice break, you spend an hour listening and just getting that knowledge from the firm. Okay, so now it's 5 p.m. and between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I go back to work, and I would spend these 2 hours basically working on the main project that I've been assigned. So in my case, the KYC project. So for example, on this project, during these 2 hours, I might work on my final presentation, bit by bit, try and improve it every single day, or I might produce some project documentation during this point on the progress that I've made so far, so that once we leave the organization as a team, other colleagues can refer to these notes and basically pick up exactly where we left off and helping them, continue the process on. Finally, at 7 p.m, I would usually stop working, wrap up, and head home. So the working hours for each division vary quite a lot. So for example, if you're in the front office, whether you're working in investment banking or private wealth management or asset management or so on, you're likely to be working longer hours than the 7 p.m. But in the Global Finance and Business Management division, the workday usually ended at 7 p.m. for interns. After this, I would just go home and watch some Netflix or watch some sports. But do bear in mind that working hours are very different depending on the division that you work in. That brings us to the end of the video. That was a full typical day working in my life as a summer intern at JP Morgan in the Global Finance and Business Management division. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.